You're tired, aren't you? Tired of carrying everything alone. Tired of waking up every morning with that weight on your chest, that knot in your throat, that feeling that the world is too heavy for your shoulders. You look around and it seems like everyone else is doing fine, like everyone else knows how to handle their problems, while you're barely holding on. Maybe it's a pain from the past that won't let you go. Maybe it's worry about someone you love. Maybe it's a mistake you made that keeps haunting you, day after day, like a voice that won't be silent. Maybe it's loneliness, that feeling that nobody truly understands what you're going through. Maybe it's fear of what's coming, of tomorrow, of growing old, of being a burden to others. Whatever it is, you're carrying it. And it's heavy. So heavy that some days you don't even want to get out of bed. So heavy that you force a smile when someone asks if you're okay, but inside, you're falling apart. I need you to hear this today, and I need you to hear it with your whole heart. God sees you. He sees that weight you're carrying. He sees those tears you cry when nobody's watching. He sees those sleepless nights. He sees that pain you don't even know how to put into words anymore. And He didn't put you here to carry all of this alone. Listen to what Jesus said, words that were spoken more than 2,000 years ago but sound like they were meant for you today. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Did you hear that? Come to me. Not figure it out by yourself. Not be strong and pretend everything's fine. Not carry it all until you break. He said, come to me. Bring that weight to me. Let me carry it with you. Because that's who God is. He's not a distant God, sitting on a throne far away, unconcerned with your struggles. He's a father. A father who sees his child stumbling under a load too heavy, and his heart breaks. A father who reaches out his hands and says, give that to me. You weren't made to carry this. I know what you might be thinking. You might be thinking, but I've prayed. I've asked God for help. And nothing changed. The pain is still here. The problem is still here. The weight is still crushing me. And I understand that feeling. I understand that desperation of praying and feeling like heaven is silent. Of asking for relief and waking up the next day with the same anguish. Of wondering if God really hears you, if He really cares. But here's what I need you to understand. God relieving your burden doesn't always mean He removes the problem immediately. Sometimes, He relieves the burden by giving you strength to carry it. Sometimes, He relieves it by changing your heart, not your circumstances. Sometimes, He relieves it by showing you that you're not as alone as you thought. Think about it this way. When you carry something heavy for a long time, your arms start to tremble, your back starts to hurt, your legs start to give out. But if someone comes alongside you, puts their hand under that weight, and says, let me help you carry this, suddenly everything changes. The weight is still there, but it's not crushing you anymore. You can breathe again. You can keep walking. That's what God does. He doesn't always remove the cross, but He helps you carry it. He walks beside you. He strengthens you. He whispers in your heart, I'm here. You're not alone. We'll get through this together. And sometimes, my friend, the relief comes not in having less to carry, but in knowing you're not carrying it alone anymore. I want to tell you something that might surprise you. The weight you're carrying right now, as painful as it is, might be teaching you something you needed to learn. It might be revealing something about yourself you didn't know. It might be preparing you for something greater that's coming. It might be softening your heart in ways that only pain can do. I'm not saying God caused your pain. I'm not saying He wanted you to suffer. But I am saying that God can use everything, even the hardest things, to shape you, to grow you, to bring you closer to Him. There are things we only learn in the valley. There are prayers we only pray when we're desperate. There are parts of God's heart we only discover when we're broken. And sometimes, the burden we carry becomes the very thing that leads us to the arms of the Father. But listen to me carefully. Carrying a burden is not the same as carrying it alone. You were never meant to face your struggles without God. You were never meant to wake up every day and pretend you're strong enough to handle everything by yourself. Pride tells us we should be able to manage. Pride tells us that asking for help is weakness. Pride tells us that depending on God means we've failed somehow. But that's a lie. That's a lie from the enemy who wants you exhausted, who wants you hopeless, who wants you to give up. The truth is this: admitting you can't carry it all is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's honesty. It's the beginning of freedom. When you finally stop pretending you're fine, when you finally stop trying to be strong enough for everything, when you finally fall to your knees and say, "God, I can't do this anymore, I need you," that's when the relief begins. That's when God can finally work, because you've stopped trying to do His job. You see, as long as you're gripping that burden with white knuckles, determined to handle it yourself, God waits. He doesn't force His help on you. He doesn't rip your problems away from you. He waits for you to open your hands. He waits for you to say, "I surrender. I give this to you." And the moment you do, everything changes. Not because the situation magically disappears, but because you're finally letting the one who is strong carry what you were never meant to carry alone. There's a story in the Bible about a man who couldn't walk. For 38 years, he lay by a pool, waiting for healing. 38 years. Can you imagine? 38 years of watching other people get their miracle while he stayed stuck in the same place. 38 years of disappointment. 38 years of wondering if his day would ever come. And then one day, Jesus walked up to him and asked a question that might seem strange: "Do you want to get well?" Of course he wanted to get well. Why else would he be lying there for 38 years? But Jesus asked the question anyway. And maybe he was really asking, are you ready to let go of this burden? Are you ready to stop defining yourself by your pain? Are you ready to receive what I want to give you? Because sometimes, we get so used to our burdens that we don't know who we'd be without them. We get so comfortable in our pain that change feels scary. We get so familiar with worry that peace feels strange. And Jesus comes to you today, just like He came to that man, and He asks you, do you want to get well? Do you want relief? Do you want me to lighten this load? And if your answer is yes, if your heart is crying out, "Yes, Lord, I'm so tired of carrying this," then this is your moment. This is the moment when you stop trying to be strong enough and you let God be strong for you. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know how God is going to fix everything. You don't have to understand His timing or His methods. You just have to come to Him. You just have to open your hands and say, "This is too heavy for me. I'm giving it to you." And I promise you, God will not let you down. He will not ignore you. He will not leave you crushed under that weight. He sees you. He loves you. And He's already making a way for your relief, even if you can't see it yet. Maybe you've been carrying guilt for years. Guilt over something you did, something you said, some choice you made that you can't take back. And every day, that guilt whispers in your ear, "You don't deserve peace. You don't deserve joy. You don't deserve God's love." But God says, "I forgive you. I don't remember your sins anymore. I don't hold your past against you. Come to me, and I will give you rest." Maybe you've been carrying worry about your children, your grandchildren, your family. You can't sleep at night because you're afraid for them. You can't stop thinking about their choices, their struggles, their pain. And it's eating you alive. But God says, "I love them even more than you do. I'm watching over them. I'm working in their lives, even when you can't see it. Trust me with them. Let me carry that worry." Maybe you've been carrying grief. Someone you loved is gone, and the emptiness is unbearable. The house is too quiet. The days are too long. The future looks dark without them. But God says, "I am close to the broken-hearted. I am with you in your sorrow. I will comfort you. I will heal you. And one day, you will see them again, and there will be no more tears." Maybe you've been carrying fear about your health, about your body giving out, about becoming dependent on others, about what's going to happen to you. But God says, "I am with you always, even to the end. I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. Your life is in my hands, and my hands are good. Whatever burden you're carrying today, God sees it. And He's inviting you to give it to Him. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel more worthy or more holy or more together. Right now. Today. This very moment. If this message is touching your heart, if you feel God speaking to you through these words, I want to ask you to do something. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Not for me, but so that more people who are carrying heavy burdens can find these words. So that more tired hearts can hear that God wants to give them rest. Your simple act of subscribing and liking helps us reach people who desperately need to hear this message. Let's help each other find hope. Now, I want you to take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. And I want you to picture yourself standing before God right now. Not a scary God. Not an angry God. But a Father. A loving, gentle, compassionate Father who looks at you with eyes full of tenderness. And I want you to picture yourself taking that burden off your shoulders, that heavy thing you've been carrying for so long, and laying it at His feet. Just putting it down. Letting it go. You don't have to carry it anymore. You really don't. God is saying to you right now, give it to me. Let me take it. Let me carry you. And maybe for the first time in a long time, you can breathe. You can rest. You can feel a little bit of that weight lifting. This is just the beginning. There's more I need to tell you. There's more God wants you to understand about how He relieves your burdens and what He wants to do in your life. But for now, just rest in this truth. You are not alone. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself. And God is already at work, bringing you the relief you've been praying for. Stay with me. There's more hope coming. There's more healing coming. There's more peace coming than you can imagine right now. God is with you. And He will lighten the burden you carry. Let me tell you something about how God works, something you need to understand deep in your soul. God doesn't always work the way we expect Him to. And that's actually a good thing, even when it doesn't feel like it. You've been praying for your burden to be lifted. You've been asking God to take away the pain, to solve the problem, to make everything better. And maybe you've been waiting, and nothing seems to change. And you start to wonder, is God listening? Does He care? Has He forgotten about me? But here's what's really happening, even when you can't see it. God is working. He's always working. But sometimes, His way of lightening your burden isn't what you thought it would be. Sometimes, God lightens your burden by giving you peace in the middle of the storm. Not by stopping the storm, but by calming your heart while the storm still rages around you. And that peace, that supernatural peace that doesn't make sense to anyone looking at your situation, that's God holding you. That's God saying, I'm here. You're safe with me, even in this. Sometimes, God lightens your burden by sending you a friend, a neighbor, a stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear at exactly the right moment. Someone who offers help you didn't even know you needed. Someone who reminds you that you're not invisible, that your life matters, that you're not forgotten. Sometimes, God lightens your burden by giving you strength you didn't know you had. You wake up one morning and you think, I can't do this another day, but somehow you do. Somehow you find the courage to keep going. Somehow you make it through. And that strength didn't come from you. That was God, carrying you when you couldn't walk on your own. Sometimes, God lightens your burden by changing your perspective. The situation stays the same, but you start seeing it differently. You start noticing things you didn't notice before. You start feeling gratitude for small blessings you used to overlook. You start understanding that this hard thing, this painful thing, is teaching you something precious. And suddenly, the burden feels a little lighter, not because it got smaller, but because you got stronger. And yes, sometimes God lightens your burden by actually removing it. By healing what was broken. By restoring what was lost. By opening a door you thought was permanently closed. By making a way when there seemed to be no way. But here's what you need to trust. However God chooses to lighten your burden, it will be exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. Because God knows you better than you know yourself. He knows what will truly help you, not just what feels good in the moment. He knows what will make you stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more dependent on Him. And sometimes, the burden stays a little while longer because God is preparing you for the blessing that's coming. Sometimes, the wait is part of the process. Sometimes, the struggle is building something in you that you're going to need for the next season of your life. Think about a woman who's about to give birth. The pain is real. The struggle is real. The burden of carrying that child is heavy. But she doesn't give up, because she knows what's coming. She knows that the pain has a purpose. She knows that she's about to meet someone she's going to love more than life itself. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you're in the labor pains of something new God is bringing into your life. Maybe this burden you're carrying is the last hard stretch before the breakthrough. Maybe you're closer to your relief than you think. But even if the wait is longer than you hoped, even if the burden stays heavier than you wanted, I need you to know this: you can make it. Not because you're strong enough, but because God is with you. Not because you have everything figured out, but because God does. Not because you can see the end from here, but because God can, and He's promised to walk with you every single step of the way. There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." Did you catch that last part? Because He cares for you. Not because you've earned it. Not because you've been perfect. Not because you've done everything right. But simply because He cares. You matter to God. Your pain matters to Him. Your tears matter to Him. Your sleepless nights matter to Him. Your quiet desperation matters to Him. You are not a burden to God. You are His beloved child. And a good father doesn't ignore his child's cry for help. But I also need to tell you something that might be hard to hear. Sometimes we hold on to our burdens because we're afraid of what life will look like without them. We're afraid of change. We're afraid of who we'll be if we're not defined by our struggles anymore. If you've been the person everyone knows as the sick one, what happens when you get healed? If you've been the person everyone knows as the struggling one, what happens when your life gets better? If you've been carrying this identity for so long, who are you without it? And sometimes, without even realizing it, we clutch our burdens tighter because at least they're familiar. At least we know how to live with this pain. The unknown feels scarier than the known suffering. But God is calling you to let go anyway. He's calling you to trust Him with the unknown. He's calling you to believe that your life without this burden will be better than you can imagine. He's calling you to step into freedom, even if freedom feels uncomfortable at first. Because here's the truth: God didn't create you to live in constant pain. He didn't create you to be crushed under impossible weight. He didn't create you to just survive, barely hanging on, white-knuckling your way through life. He created you to thrive, to have joy, to have peace, to have abundant life. And yes, life will still have hard moments. Life will still have valleys and storms and challenges. But you can walk through those things without being destroyed by them. You can face hard things without being crushed by them. Because you'll be facing them with God, not alone. Let me tell you about something Jesus did that shows you exactly how much He cares about your burdens. He was teaching one day, and there were thousands of people listening to Him. The day got late, and everyone was hungry, but they were far from any town, far from any food. Jesus could have just sent everyone home. He could have said, "Well, you should have brought lunch." He could have focused only on the spiritual teaching and ignored their physical needs. But He didn't. He saw that they were hungry, and He cared. He took a little boy's small lunch, 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, and He multiplied it until everyone ate and was satisfied. Do you see what that shows you? Jesus cares about your practical needs. He cares about your physical needs. He cares about the real, everyday burdens you carry. It's not just about your soul. It's about your whole life. Your health, your finances, your relationships, your daily struggles. All of it matters to Him. And just like He took that little boy's small offering and turned it into more than enough, He can take whatever little bit you have left, whatever small amount of strength or hope or faith you're barely holding on to, and He can multiply it. He can make it enough. He can make it more than enough. You don't have to come to God with everything figured out. You don't have to come to Him already strong. You can come to Him with your mess, with your weakness, with your almost empty tank, and He will work with that. He will take what little you have and make it into something beautiful. But you have to bring it to Him. You have to stop trying to fill yourself up on your own. You have to stop trying to be enough by yourself. You have to come to Him and say, "This is all I have, and it's not much, but I'm giving it to you." And watch what He does with it. Watch how He takes your surrender and turns it into strength. Watch how He takes your weakness and displays His power through it. Watch how He takes your broken pieces and creates something whole. Now, I want to talk to you about something that might be making your burden even heavier than it needs to be. Unforgiveness. Maybe toward someone else. Maybe toward yourself. Maybe even toward God. If someone hurt you, betrayed you, disappointed you, and you've been carrying that anger, that bitterness, that resentment, I need you to hear this. That unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's not hurting them. It's hurting you. It's adding weight to a burden you're already struggling to carry. God wants to lighten your load. But He can't do that fully if you're choosing to carry around all that bitterness. Not because He's punishing you, but because bitterness is heavy. Anger is heavy. Resentment is heavy. And as long as you're gripping onto it, you're choosing to carry extra weight that God never asked you to bear. Forgiving doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you have to trust them again. It doesn't mean you have to let them back into your life. Forgiving means you're releasing your right to make them pay. You're giving it to God. You're saying, "I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm not letting what they did continue to poison my peace." And if you're carrying guilt and shame over your own mistakes, over your own sins, over your own failures, God is saying to you today, "I forgive you. It's done. It's finished. You don't have to carry that anymore." The enemy wants you to keep punishing yourself. The enemy wants you to keep replaying your mistakes. The enemy wants you to believe you're too far gone, too messed up, too broken for God to use you or bless you or lighten your burden. But that's a lie. God doesn't see you the way you see yourself. He doesn't see your past. He sees your potential. He doesn't see your failures. He sees His child. He doesn't see someone who deserves to be crushed under guilt. He sees someone He loves, someone He died for, someone He wants to set free. So let it go. Whatever you've been holding against yourself, whatever shame you've been carrying, whatever voice has been telling you you're not good enough, let it go. God has already forgiven you. Now you need to forgive yourself. And if you're angry at God, if you've been mad at Him for not answering your prayers the way you wanted, for not preventing something painful, for letting you down in some way, I want you to know, it's okay to be honest with Him about that. God can handle your anger. He can handle your questions. He can handle your disappointment. But don't let that anger keep you from coming to Him. Don't let that hurt keep you at a distance from the only one who can truly heal you. Bring it to Him. Tell Him how you feel. Let Him show you His heart. Let Him remind you that even when you don't understand His ways, you can still trust His love. Because God's love for you has never wavered, not for 1 second. Not when you messed up. Not when you doubted. Not when you were angry. Not when you felt like giving up. His love has been constant, unwavering, unconditional. And it always will be. If these words are bringing you hope, if you're feeling something shift in your heart, would you take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear it? There are people in your life who are carrying burdens right now, who are tired, who are barely holding on. This message might be exactly what they need today. Let's spread this hope together. I want you to think about your life 5 years from now. Imagine that God has done what He's promised. Imagine that He's lightened your burden. Imagine that you're looking back on this season, and you can finally see why things happened the way they did. You can see how God was working, even when it felt like nothing was happening. You can see how He was protecting you, preparing you, positioning you for something better. What would that version of you want to say to the you who's sitting here right now, struggling, exhausted, wondering if things will ever get better? I think they would say, don't give up. Keep trusting God. It's going to be okay. Actually, it's going to be better than okay. The relief is coming. The breakthrough is coming. The peace you've been praying for is coming. Just hold on a little longer. That's what I'm saying to you right now. Hold on. Not because the road is easy, but because God is faithful. Not because you can see the way forward, but because God can. Not because you have all the answers, but because God does, and that's enough. Your burden is real. Your pain is valid. Your struggle is not in your imagination. But I promise you this, God sees you. God is with you. And God is already working on your behalf, bringing you the relief you've been crying out for. It might not come exactly how you pictured it. It might not come exactly when you wanted it. But it will come. And when it does, you'll understand why the timing had to be what it was. You'll see how God's plan was better than your plan. You'll look back and say, God, you knew what you were doing all along. Until then, take it one day at a time. Sometimes 1 hour at a time. Sometimes 1 breath at a time. And remember, you don't have to carry it all. You were never meant to. God is right there beside you, ready to take the weight, ready to give you rest, ready to show you that His strength is made perfect in your weakness. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. And your burden will not crush you, because the God who created the universe is holding you up. There's something I need you to understand as we come to the end of our time together today, something that might change everything for you. The burden you're carrying right now is not your final destination. It's not the end of your story. It's just a chapter. And God is already writing the next one. You've been living in this struggle for so long that it's hard to imagine life any other way. You've forgotten what it feels like to wake up without that weight on your chest. You've forgotten what peace feels like. You've forgotten what it's like to go through a whole day without that worry gnawing at you. But God hasn't forgotten. He remembers who you were before the burden. He remembers the joy you used to have. He remembers the dreams you used to dream. And He's not content to leave you buried under all this weight. He's making a way for you to live again, not just exist. To breathe again, not just survive. Let me tell you what God says about your future, about what He has planned for you. He says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Did you hear that? Plans to prosper you. Plans to give you hope. Plans for a future. Not plans to keep you stuck where you are. Not plans to let you be crushed. Not plans to abandon you in your pain. But plans for something better, something good, something that will make you look back on this season and see His faithfulness in ways you can't see yet. God hasn't given up on you. And He's not going to start now. But here's what He needs from you. He needs your trust. Not your understanding. Not your ability to figure it all out. Just your trust. Your willingness to say, God, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I believe you will. I don't know when my relief is coming, but I believe it's coming. I don't know what the answer looks like, but I believe you have one. That's faith. Real faith. Not the kind that only believes when everything makes sense, but the kind that believes even in the dark. The kind that says, even though I can't see you, I know you're there. Even though I can't feel you, I know you're working. Even though it's taking longer than I hoped, I know your timing is perfect. And when you choose to trust God like that, something powerful happens. The burden doesn't necessarily disappear right away, but your relationship with it changes. It stops defining you. It stops controlling you. It stops stealing your joy and your peace and your hope. You start to realize that you are more than your struggles. You are more than your pain. You are more than this hard season. You are a child of God. You are loved. You are valuable. You are precious. And nothing you're going through can change that truth. There's a story in the Bible about 3 young men who were thrown into a blazing furnace because they refused to worship a false god. The fire was so hot that it killed the soldiers who threw them in. But these 3 men, they walked around inside that fire completely unharmed. And when the king looked into the furnace, he saw something that shocked him. He saw 4 men walking in the fire, not 3. And he said, "The 4th one looks like a son of the gods." That 4th person was God himself. He was right there in the fire with them. He didn't prevent them from being thrown into the furnace, but he didn't let them burn. He was with them in the hardest moment of their lives. And that's what God does for you. He's in the fire with you. He's in the struggle with you. He's in the pain with you. And because he's there, the fire can't destroy you. The burden can't break you. The struggle can't steal your identity, or your future, or your hope. You might feel like you're in the furnace right now. You might feel like the heat is unbearable. But look again. You're not alone in there. God is right beside you. And he's not going to let you burn. Now, I want to speak directly to something you might be feeling. You might be thinking, this all sounds good, but my burden is different. My situation is too complicated. My pain is too deep. God might help other people, but I'm too far gone. Stop right there. That's not true. That's the enemy trying to keep you from receiving what God wants to give you. That's shame trying to disqualify you from God's grace. That's fear trying to convince you that you're the exception to God's love. But you're not. There is no burden too heavy for God. There is no situation too complicated for God. There is no pain too deep for God to heal. There is no person too far gone for God to reach. He created the entire universe with his words. He parted the Red Sea. He made the sun stand still. He raised people from the dead. And you think your burden is too much for him? You think your problem is beyond his ability to solve? God is bigger than whatever you're facing. His power is greater than your pain. His love is stronger than your struggle. And his promise to lighten your burden is not conditional on how good you've been or how strong your faith is or how well you've handled everything. It's based on who he is, not who you are. So stop disqualifying yourself. Stop thinking you have to earn his help. Stop waiting until you feel worthy enough to come to him. Come as you are, right now, with all your mess and all your doubts and all your weakness. That's exactly how he wants you to come. Jesus said something beautiful that I want you to hear. He said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." A yoke is what you put on 2 animals so they can pull something together. And Jesus is saying, when you're yoked to me, when we're carrying this burden together, it becomes light. Not because the burden itself got smaller, but because I'm doing most of the pulling. That's the invitation he's giving you. Stop trying to pull this load by yourself. Let him be yoked with you. Let him take the weight. Let him do the heavy lifting while you just walk beside him. And here's what happens when you do that. You discover that walking with Jesus, even through hard things, is better than walking without him through easy things. You discover that his presence makes everything bearable. You discover that he really does give rest to the weary. You discover that his promises are true. I've been talking to you for a while now, and I hope you felt something stirring in your heart. I hope you felt God speaking to you, reminding you that he sees you, that he loves you, that he hasn't abandoned you. Before we finish, I want to share this message with as many people as possible who need to hear it. If this has touched your heart, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone you know who's carrying a heavy burden. Your share might be the answer to someone's prayer today. Together, we can remind hurting people that they're not alone and that God is faithful. Now, as we close, I want to pray for you. I want to speak these words over your life, and I want you to receive them in your heart. God, I thank you for every person listening to this message right now. I thank you that you see them, that you know exactly what they're carrying, that you understand their pain even when they can't put it into words. I thank you that you haven't brought them this far to leave them now. God, I pray that you would lighten their burdens. Whatever weight they're carrying, whatever pain is crushing them, whatever worry is stealing their sleep, I pray that you would take it from them. Give them your peace. Give them your strength. Give them your hope. Help them to trust you even when they can't see the way forward. Help them to believe that you're working even when everything looks impossible. Help them to know, deep in their souls, that they are not alone, that they never have been, and that they never will be. Heal what's broken in them. Restore what's been lost. Open doors that have been closed. Make ways where there seem to be no ways. And remind them every single day that they are loved, that they matter, that their story isn't over yet. Give them rest, God. Real rest. The kind of rest that only you can give. The kind that doesn't depend on their circumstances but comes from knowing they're held by you. In Jesus' name, amen. My friend, I want to leave you with this final thought. There's a verse that says, "Weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning." You might be in the night right now. It might be dark. It might feel like the morning will never come. But it will. Joy is coming. Relief is coming. Peace is coming. God's promises are coming true in your life, even if you can't see it yet. And until that morning comes, God is with you in the night. He's holding you. He's carrying you. He's whispering to your heart, "I've got you. You're going to make it. This burden will not destroy you. I'm lightening it even now." So rest in that. Trust in that. Hold on to that truth when everything else feels uncertain. You are not alone. You are deeply loved. And God is going to lighten the burden you carry. He sees you right now, right where you are. He sees those tears. He sees that pain. He sees how hard you've been trying to keep it together. And He's saying to you, with all the tenderness of a loving father, "Come to me. Let me carry this with you. Let me give you rest." Will you come to Him today? Will you open your hands and let Him take what's too heavy for you? Will you trust that He knows what He's doing, even when you don't understand? I believe you will. I believe you're ready. I believe this is your moment to release that burden and receive the rest God has been trying to give you all along. Take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. Unclench your jaw. Release the tension you've been holding in your body. And say these words out loud or in your heart. God, I give this to you. I can't carry it anymore. I'm trusting you to lighten my burden. I'm trusting you to give me rest. I'm trusting you with my life. And now, receive His peace. Receive His strength. Receive His love. It's yours. It's always been yours. You just had to open your heart to receive it. God is lightening your burden right now. Can you feel it? That little bit of weight lifting? That small breath of relief? That's God. That's Him keeping His promise. That's Him showing you that He's faithful, that He's with you, that everything is going to be okay. You're going to make it through this. Not because you're strong enough, but because God is. Not because you have all the answers, but because God does. Not because the road ahead is easy, but because you're not walking it alone. God is with you. And that changes everything. Go now, with your burden a little lighter. Go with hope in your heart. Go with peace in your soul. Go knowing that the God who created everything loves you more than you can comprehend, and He's already working on your behalf, bringing you the breakthrough you've been praying for. Your morning is coming. Your relief is coming. Your joy is coming. And until then, rest in His arms. Trust in His timing. Believe in His promises. God will lighten the burden you carry. He already is.